I was born to know the vast and permeating nexus between the native arts and the maintenance of cultural continuance in contemporary native communities. The statement that native artists past and present are the culture bearers of our native communities is not some mechanical and rote rhetorical cultural maxim. I believe that it also happens to be complete truth. But if it is truth, then every person in this room has genuine responsibilities to our native communities. That belief and commitment guided me every day I sat in the director's chair at the National Museum of the American Indian. And it is the totality of why I agreed so readily to be a director of the Native Arts and Culture Foundation. So as is our wont as Native people, let me leave you as I began with a story. It is about a Northern California basket maker named Mrs. Matt, who was hired to teach basket making at a local university in Northern California. After 3 weeks, her students complained that all they had done was sing songs. When they asked, were they going to learn to make baskets, Mrs. Matt, somewhat taken aback, replied that they were learning to make baskets. She explained that the process begins with songs that are sung, so as not to insult the plants when the materials for the basket are picked. So her students learned the songs and went to pick the grasses and plants to make their baskets. Upon their return to the classroom, however, the students again were dismayed when Mrs. Matt began to teach them yet more songs. This time, she wanted them to learn the songs that must be sung as you soften the materials in your mouth before you begin to weave. Exasperated, the students protested having to learn songs instead of learning to make baskets. Mrs. Matt, perhaps a bit exasperated herself at this point, thereupon patiently explained the obvious to them. You're missing the point, she told them. A basket is a song made visible. I do not know, honestly, whether Mrs. Matt's students went on to become exemplary basket makers, and I somehow doubt they did. What I do know is that her sublimely poetic remark, which suggests the interconnectedness of everything, the symbiosis of who we are and what we do, the nexus between the tangible and the intangible, the interdependence of the physical and the spiritual, embodies a whole philosophy of Native life and culture that speaks volumes about the powerful and abiding relationship against all odds and much of history between the Native arts and our continuance as vital and living peoples and cultures into a future that the ancestors wanted and fought and died for on our behalf.